It's long been said that hypocrisy is the tribute that vice pays to virtue. I have to admit I'm enjoying listening to my Democrat colleagues suddenly discover the virtues of the rule of law after 4 years where they brazenly supported the most lawless Department of Justice and the most politically weaponized Department of Justice our nation has ever seen. We just heard the senator from Rhode Island talk about the imperative of protecting judges. And yet not a single Democrat senator cared about the violent protesters that showed up outside Supreme Court justices' homes, including, I might note, female justices like Justice Amy Coney Barrett, threatening their family, and Joe Biden's attorney general didn't do a damn thing and refused to enforce the law to protect those judges. Why? Because he agreed with the violent protesters and he wanted to intimidate and threaten those judges. Professor Bray, under our Constitution, who should decide elections, the voters or unelected judges?
Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to the channel. If you love freedom, the Constitution, and the rule of law, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's dive into what really matters for America. Today, I want to talk about something that's got my blood boiling, but also gives me hope. Because finally, someone in Congress is telling it like it is. I'm talking about Senator Ted Cruz, who just delivered an absolute masterclass on hypocrisy, the radical left's abuse of our justice system, and the desperate attempts to block the will of the American people. Let's break down what happened and why it matters for every single one of us who loves this country.
The voters are the ones who should vote in the election according to the laws, and the laws sometimes have to be applied by the judges if there are cases.
And under our Constitution, who is charged with making policy decisions? Elected representatives elected by the people or unelected federal judges?
I think the question of policy, Senator, is a little broader than the particular case. So the laws should be enacted by Congress. That's where the fountain of law.
Policy decisions are the elected branches.
Right.
Law is the province of the court. Policy is the province of the elected branches. These are not complicated. Professor Bray, let me ask you this. Do the federal courts have power to issue remedies for people who are not parties to a case?
That's a question I agree is not complicated. They do not have that power.
Is the phrase nationwide injunction or universal injunction found anywhere in the Constitution?
It is not.
First chart. In the first 150 years of our republic, how many nationwide injunctions were issued?
My view is that there were not any until 1963.
0. Now fast forward. How many nationwide injunctions were issued in the entire 20th century?
It's a small number. I would think it would be a dozen, give or take. It's not large.
27, actually. Excluding Trump's first term, how many nationwide injunctions were issued in the last 20 years?
Far more than that.
32. From 2001 to 2024 against Biden, Obama, and Bush, 32. And how many nationwide injunctions have been issued in the last 2 months alone?
There have been quite a few.
37. Let that sink in. There have been more nationwide injunctions in the past 2 months against President Trump than in the entire 20th century. There have been more nationwide injunctions against President Trump in the last 2 months than both terms of George W. Bush, both terms of Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's term. We saw during the Biden presidency lawfare, indicting President Trump 4 times, using the machinery of justice to attack him, and that was an attack on democracy, because Democrats today hate democracy. Democrats today are angry at the voters for re-electing Donald Trump and electing a Republican Senate and a Republican House, and they engaged in lawfare to stop democracy from operating. Understand, this is the second phase of lawfare, second chart. This is the second phase of lawfare. Now that their efforts to indict President Trump and stop the voters from re-electing him have failed, they're going and seeking out individual radical judges to try to shut down policies, and they are forum shopping like crazy. give me any loon judge put on the bench by Obama or Biden who disagrees with a policy. We just saw a judge flagrantly ignore U.S. immigration law concerning TPS being revoked. U.S. law explicitly said there's no judicial review for that, but hey, they found a judge who says, you know what? We, the Democrat Party, we are the party of illegal aliens. We are the party of murderers and rapists and gang members, and the Democrat Party exists here to fight to keep murderers and rapists and gang members in your communities. There's a reason the Democrat Party is at 26% approval nationwide, because they put radical policies ahead of rule of law. Nationwide injunctions are an abuse of power. It is the judiciary acting as policy deciders, and it is incumbent on this committee and this body to rein in the abuse of power from these unelected radical judges who are trying to overturn the election because they disagree with what the voters decided.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Senator Klobuchar.
First off, Senator Cruz calls out the Democrats for suddenly discovering the virtues of the rule of law. And, folks, he's 100% right. Where was all this concern for the rule of law when the left was cheering on the most lawless, politically weaponized Department of Justice we've ever seen? Remember when mobs were showing up outside the homes of Supreme Court justices? Not a peep from the Democrats about enforcing the law or protecting the families of justices like Amy Coney Barrett. Not a word about the safety of women, mothers, and children. Why? Because the mob was on their side, and the Biden DOJ just looked the other way. Let me tell you something, folks. The law is supposed to apply equally. It doesn't matter if you agree with someone's politics. If you threaten a judge, you're breaking the law. But under Biden, the law is weaponized to go after political opponents, while their own supporters get a free pass. Cruz's questioning of Professor Bray gets right to the heart of it. Who decides elections in America? The voters. Not unelected judges, not bureaucrats, not some activist in a black robe. The people decide. And who's supposed to make policy? Our elected representatives, not judges who think their personal feelings matter more than the law. This is basic civics, folks. It's not complicated. But it seems like Democrats have forgotten it. Or more likely, they just don't like it when the people vote for Republicans, for freedom, for America First policies. Then Cruz gets into the issue of nationwide injunctions. Now, if you're not familiar with this legal trick, let me break it down. A single federal judge, often a left-wing activist put on the bench by Obama or Biden, can issue an order stopping the entire country from following a law or policy. Just one person overturning the will of millions. That's not democracy, that's tyranny. And as Cruz points out, this wasn't even a thing for 150 years of our republic. 0 nationwide injunctions, only 27 in the entire 20th century. But now, judges are issuing these things left and right, especially when they want to block President Trump and the America First agenda. Just think about that. According to Cruz, there have been more nationwide injunctions against President Trump in the last 2 months than in the entire 20th century. Let that sink in. The radical left is so desperate to stop Trump, to stop you, the American voter, that they're running to every friendly judge they can find, forum shopping like crazy, trying to shut down your voice at the ballot box. This is lawfare, plain and simple. It's not about justice. It's not about the Constitution. It's about power. The left hates democracy when it doesn't go their way, and they'll use any tool to overturn elections and impose their radical policies on the rest of us. And let me tell you, patriots, it's exactly why the Democrat Party's approval rating is in the gutter. Americans are waking up. They're tired of open borders, crime in the streets, and judges who think they're legislators. So what do? First, we call out this abuse of power every single time. We support leaders like Senator Cruz who have the guts to stand up and fight back. We demand Congress rein in these activist judges and restore the rule of law. And most importantly, we vote in every single election, local, state, and federal. The future of our republic is on the line, and it's up to us to defend it. To the radical left, you will not silence us. You will not erase our votes. The American people are awake, and we're taking our country back. If you agree, share this video, leave a comment below, and let's keep the fight for freedom going. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.